2020 has been pretty crazy for certain sectors of the stock market. Other sectors of the stock market have not done very well at all. We're going to have a look at what happened this year and predict what sector will do pretty well next year. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to give you a couple of predictions on what sector I think in the stock market is going to do very well in 2021 with the backing of some homework and research from some websites and some analysts. And we're going to look at what sectors did what last year as well. I'm going to show you a pretty interesting report done that actually breaks each sector up into separate sectors as well, which is quite interesting. So we're gonna have a look at that today and predict what sector next year is gonna do pretty well. I'm also gonna look into track your dividends as well, which gives me an overview of what sectors I'm heavy in my portfolio, which will actually steer quite well towards what I might be getting into at the beginning of the year. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, then you certainly should be. Get yourself down below and subscribe to the channel for more content coming up, and like the video while you're there, providing of course you get some value from it, which hopefully you will do. So we're going to go into the computer and look at these different reports that I've found, and the really interesting report that shows you each sector separated up into separate sectors as well, which is just interesting. I've never seen that before, so that'll be good to have a look at. And I'll have a look at a couple of websites and reports done by analysts of which sector they think is going to do very well next year, and give you my thoughts on it as well. Right, so here we are. First, I'll go straight into this this report done by Yardini Research and a Dr. Edward Yardini. This is a report I literally just found online of the different sectors within the S&P 500 and how they performed this year so far. So this is one of the most interesting parts. This gives you each sector in the S&P 500 and how it's performed from the start of the year. So you can see from this graph, hopefully you can see that. Let's see if we can, oh hello. So each sector other than materials were doing very well, and energy were doing very well at the beginning of the year. Then of course we had the massive sell-off, as we all know, and then 2/3 of the sectors have bounced back pretty strongly. So from this you can see information technology at a 40% return has done incredibly well, and the worst performing sector is energy at a minus 37% and is still down here. Now obviously hugely impacted by what happened in kind of March, April, and continued throughout the year. Energy sector just hasn't done very well, and the Saudi price war on oil and oil production and things like that has certainly compounded that and has not helped at all. So the energy sector has not done very well at all. We've got a couple of sectors here. So the financial sector again is still just recovering, the real estate investment trusts are still recovering, and utilities are still just trying to recover. But the rest of the sectors, the S&P 500 index as a total, the consumer discretionary, consumer staples, healthcare, information technology, materials have done pretty well, industrials have been okay, and communication services. So that's obviously very interesting to see what sectors not done very well and what's done incredibly well. What I find more interesting is in this same report we've got a breakdown of the different sectors within the consumer discretionary, retail sector, and industry performance. The different sectors, you've got housing and auto related, we've got consumer discretionary continued, we've got consumer staples sector and industry performance, again broken down a little bit more for you. We've got the energy sector, which obviously is not done very well, but again all the different sectors within the energy sector. We've got financials and healthcare. Anyway, this report just gives you a breakdown of all the sectors within the stock market, and then a breakdown of each sector within that sector in a way. Now the one I want to have a look at for you guys really is the first graph, being the overall sector performance, which is this one, but also the second graph here is month to date for November 2020, and we can see that actually getting towards the end of the year with these vaccines coming out and a bit of positivity, the energy sector in the last month has rocketed. So with the vaccines coming out, and hopefully sectors like leisure and travel and things hopefully going to be coming back around and bouncing back. I'm assuming the energy sector will probably perform quite well. So let's have a quick look at another website I've come across. So we're literally in whatinvestment.co.uk, and there's a article here essentially talking about what sectors are going to perform very well next year, and they've asked quite a few kind of investment company managers and things like that. So the section here, best performing sectors, almost a fifth, 19% of the people asked believe that healthcare, equipment and services will be the best performing sector next year in 2021, which for me makes complete sense. With the vaccines coming out, I certainly think healthcare is going to do very well indeed. And they've also said on a more long-term overview, a 5-year overview, they said that travel and leisure companies are going to do very well indeed. And that does make sense, because as soon as we can start getting back to normality and people can start traveling again and get on flights. So we'll just jump back to this article from Yardini about the performance in each sector in 2020, and we've got transport, so really kind of transport and travel, and airlines again are the only sector within that that's not done very well at all, and are still far down, so 32% down. Now your travel and leisure again I think are going to bounce back pretty strongly in 2021 now that we've got vaccines coming out, so some seriously good plays there. Maybe you've got the likes of some big airline companies, you've got the likes of some big cruise liners, Carnival. If we have a look at my portfolio, Carnival have really bounced back quite strongly since the initial sell-off, and we've got a long way to go. But companies and sectors like that I think are going to do pretty well, and the investment company managers that were asked part of this article here, predominantly Darius McDermott, they said on a 5-year view travel and leisure companies are going to do very well indeed. So another article found online that's quite an interesting one, has got some quite interesting figures in it, are retail e-commerce sales, certainly in the last 4 years, and how they've grown and how they've increased. So this is an interesting one. I think a strong view moving forward, a bullish view moving forward. Companies like Amazon, Shopify, Wix, CJD, these are all companies that are quite heavy in the e-commerce space, and I think that could be a good play moving forward. In terms of the sector they're all in, you'll be consumer discretionaries, you'll be communication technology, and you'll be communication services. I think some of those will be in. And then another interesting point in this article, companies such as Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Square, because cash is going to be used a lot less, I think, with again this everything going on, and with e-commerce growing, therefore companies like Visa, MasterCard, PayPal are certainly going to do very well indeed. So again, more of a short, I guess, or mid to long term, you should probably look at this in terms of growth in these companies. It could be 2, 3, 4 years time to see some serious gains in these, because I think just more, this graph that we see here with retail e-commerce sales is just going to carry on growing, in which case the likes of Visa, PayPal, MasterCard, they're going to continue to grow as well, because there'll be more business and revenue heading towards their company. So track your dividends here, which is my exact portfolio, and this is what I've got in the portfolio. The only companies I haven't got in this sector here are actually the UK companies, because they don't support that, so it's not a complete overview. But if you have a look here, energy, for me, I've only got 5% of my portfolio is in the energy sector. Huge amount in ETFs, huge amount in the REITs and financials. I was always quite heavy on, so I'm still waiting for those to bounce back. The energy, it's a sector that I've got less in, so this could be a perfect opportunity for me just to start nudging up and investing a little bit more in the energy sector to give my portfolio a bit more of a well-rounded diversification. But also I think the energy sector is going to do pretty well next year anyway. We've then also got healthcare, which again I think will do very well next year, and I've only got 4.72% of the portfolio in healthcare. So those two could be good sectors to look at for next year, and just to help to further diversify my portfolio. So I think for me, the sectors really, healthcare I think is going to do very well. Energy I think is certainly due to bounce back, and I think certain sectors will always do well in the form of communication services, in the form of the ETFs that track the overall market, and technology sectors. I also think real estate and financial services sectors should continue to bounce back. They have started to just towards the end of the year, but I think they'll continue to be quite strong next year as well. So that's it really, just wanted to get in here and show you. So get yourself to yardini.com. This is Yardini Research. This is where I found this report here, full report on what sector did what this year really, but get yourself to their website because there's obviously far more stock market research they do as well. So it's a good tool to be involved in, good tool to use. So that's it guys, put a comment down below what sector you're going to be bullish on next year, if you've got one in particular or a couple in particular, or just let me know if you're going to be diversifying across all sectors as you usually would or you should be, or if you're just doing S&P and an index fund investing. Pop a comment down below because I'd love to hear kind of your thoughts on it and what sort of particular stocks you might be getting into as well. I'll do a roundup at the end of the year for my portfolio and all the dividends I've received from the portfolio. I'll do a little roundup of the EV stocks that I got into. I'll tag the video just the other day and how they're performing. Some are performing very well, some are not performing very well at all. And that's it guys, that'll be a roundup for my sort of 2020. And then we'll just hit the ground running in 2021, get as many videos out as we can, give you guys as much value as I possibly can give you, and see if we can keep growing the channel. So I'll catch you guys, no doubt, hopefully, in the next video. See you later.